Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sean, and this is a bonus episode for Baldur's Gate 3. This episode is more of a wrap-up discussion that I had with my friends, as we kind of discussed some of our favorite moments through our run-through, and some ideas that we might be having for our next run-through as we choose characters, classes, and some of the new subclasses that's coming out for patch 8. So, hope you enjoyed the discussion, and if you've watched any of the previous episodes before, please share your thoughts of your favorite moments through our run through, and just would like to see them. Anyways, enjoy everybody.
Yeah, so we're not going to be able to jump in?
Nope.
Discord stream.
I fear I am becoming accustomed to the taste of some fate.
As I don't think there's anything after the reunion camp, but I can't remember. You only finished the game twice. So.
Well, that's good to know. I was actually going to ask, how many times have you beat this game, Steve?
Once the first time, and then again honor mode. Oh wait, no, I did first time honor mode and evil. I just beat evil a few weeks ago.
Wow, you did honor mode? Dang, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
If
honor
you're
mode
not,
isn't that bad.
If you're not doing a super high difficulty, it's not too much to worry about.
I was gonna recommend honor mode for our next run to spice it up, and just if we die, just continue on in custom mode instead of resetting.
I mean, I'd be down for that if you guys are.
I don't know.
It just basically ups the boss difficulty and a little bit of the
reunions to which I was not.
hit rates of enemies a little.
I think we're not going to be a super optimized group, because we were actually a pretty optimized group this run through.
No.
I was gonna say, I don't know about that. I was actually kind of worried about our group makeup at first.
Yeah, I mean, we'll still be rounded more or less similarly to what we are.
True, yeah.
Well, we have two melee casters, so...
Melee casters?
Bladelock and Spellsinger Wizard?
Bladesinger. Wizard.
I didn't know if Sean was going Bladesinger, I just knew Wizard.
Yeah, I've been looking at it, and I've been really highly considering it, because it looks a lot of fun. And I've been seeing some people kind of do, some playtesting for, patch 8. Yeah, it looks great. And I still get to do wizardly things, so, I feel like it's kind of like a win-win situation.
I somewhat feel like Hexblade Warlock is going to be somewhat like my monk, actually, in terms of I'm just stacking up pluses to damage on swings.
Well, the next one should be an interesting group makeup, considering what we are all kind of thinking about playing.
Yeah, like I said, it was the Bladesinger Wizard and the Hexblade Warlock, and then what was it? What kind of archer was Kevin gonna be?
Swarmkeeper, I think.
Was this? I thought it was going to be that new one, Arcane Archer.
Swarmkeeper Ranger is the new Ranger.
Oh, I thought he was doing Arcane Archer. That's what it was, but either way, it's still going to be pew pew with a bow. So.
Yeah.
And what were you thinking, Steve?
Maybe do Giant Barbarian.
I'll be so for that. Honestly, you play Barbarian, fucking awesome.
It is still a thrower, so it isn't pure melee. But I can tell you from experience that throwing with a barbarian, you can absolutely do it in melee, including throwing the monsters.
Yes. Oh man, I tell you what, that was one thing I had a lot of fun with my paladin was throwing shit,
Reunited with friends amidst
and I can only
history.
imagine how much better it's going to be with
What more could
your
I wish
barbarian
for?
character you're thinking of.
I'm still not sure if I'm gonna multi-class it, but I've got some time to figure that out while they figure out the patch.
Yeah, I've been kind of like debating that too. Like, am I going to multi-class or am I just going to go straight placing wizard? But got some time. Definitely have to redo the stats, and I'm probably gonna put it into Dex, concentration, and intelligence. Got 4 achievements.
Yeah, we didn't because we weren't there. Sad face.
I know. Makes me so sad I couldn't get you guys back in.
That's all right.
We'll get it
We'll just
again.
have to play again.
And
Exactly.
actually do everything and not leave after the final battle.
Yeah, it was really late. though.
Yeah,
It really was. It was already past 10:30 at that point. I remember like waking up the next morning. I'm like, I'm so tired. Worth it.
Yeah.
It really was though. That was actually a really exciting time last week.
So I know it was more recent, but the fact that you were able to throw Iron Helm Gnome into the water and kill him was just beautiful. Fucker deserved it.
It did. I'm still laughing about that.
He's kind of a bastard, yeah.
Yeah, hiding his own stuff.
Were there highlights you guys like really enjoyed in the game?
I really liked the vampire den.
Same,
Got to like light everything up.
man.
Totally trivialize the
Yeah.
encounter, but still.
No, I mean I love that too. I remember after that when that night ended, I remember just going up and telling my wife, I was like, man, we went up against a a bunch of vampires and we massacred them.
It helps when you have two class characters that are built around countering
Well,
them.
Kevin was using fire and that kind of stuff too, and lightning that was doing great damage too. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody was doing really great. I mean, it really helped we had the light cleric, don't get me wrong, because that daylight on my weapon was really screwing with them, but still.
I don't think you may be underestimating how much that was helping.
Oh, no. I'm not, because it kept the boss from even disappearing on us. He couldn't even misform because of it.
Hmm.
And even when I got, I think it was stunned or something like that,
Instead of getting advantage of still just straight rolls.
yeah, but we were still just destroying them, and I mean, even you, Dave, when you got a hold of somebody, you were just tearing them apart.
Yeah, it's like one or two. I can almost one shot a full, like a mid ad by every round.
So what I noticed with the monk is that as we progressed the story, the amount of death that you would just throw out, I'm like, oh shit, that thing has 120 health. What are we going to do about it? Oh, it's Dave's turn. Oh, it's dead. Okay, well, then I don't need to cast a spell, and
That's exactly what I was trying to do. Is just get a whole bunch of pluses on my. How many attacks do I have? 5 attacks.
God, I don't know. It was too many.
Oh, it's 2 main attacks, and then the flurry went from 2 to 3. And if I was hasted, I add 2 more on top of that.
Yeah. Yeah, giving you and Sean haste was so nice.
I loved it when we got haste, man. We just cooked the field from there. It was just awesome. I will say I wasn't expecting doing the damage I was doing in game, especially against that red dragon. When I was actually able to hit him, that was hilarious to me. By the way,
Yeah, you were hitting really hard with that greatsword.
It's a giant slayer, and the dragon was giant, but still,
Yeah.
it was like, how did you just do 200 of its 600 health?
Yeah, in one hit, it was
Yeah.
like, bam!
If I don't know if it was a bug with the monk mod I was using, but if I was able to just do unarmed attacks for my base attacks as well, I could have been killing you even harder.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
your martial arts die would have gone. It wouldn't have been weapon die.
Oh no, not that, but the gloves. The gloves that I got specifically was plus 10 to each unarmored or bare hand hit. So if I wasn't forced to use my main weapon for the first 2 hits, that's an extra 20 damage that was not dealt each time I hit. Each round.
Jeez. It was so great. Like even with the change, which was like happened around Act 3, wasn't it? When that happened.
That was when we switched from the third-party mod to the full-on
The
integrated
Yeah.
mod.
Yeah.
Which I do believe it was like Act 3 when that happened. But
I don't think it would have fixed that particular issue. A different issue came up, though, is that I stopped being able to individually target my flurry hits. It ended up just staying as 1-3 attack instead of 2 separate attacks. That's 3 separate attacks.
Yeah, well, the
Yeah.
base game for Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't let you split your flurries at all.
I will say, you played that monk class very well, Dave. Because I honestly, I couldn't have played that any better. Truly, honestly, like there was no way I could have played that any better than you did. I thought you did a great job with that class.
That was why I was really interested in doing that, and I'm on the campaign that you were trying to host, because you do that little extra bit of healing when needed, but also be able to do damage plus, force whatever target I'm hitting to their next swing to not have it be disadvantaged. So that would
Yeah.
help.
Well, maybe one day here, I can get that going again. I really wanted to do that, like next campaign, D&D campaign. And heck, maybe we could actually like record some of those sessions too, just for content and for fun and that kind of thing to reminisce on later if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Plus, then we can get like Josh in too. That would be great.
Getting time to do all that is always hard enough to do this.
It is. That's why I said like maybe later on down the road, because it is starting to get easier with my youngest, and we're getting personally for like my time. It's getting to the point where we can start making more time for individual things. It's a possibility, is all I'm saying. So
I would look forward to it.
Cool.
yeah. So I'll keep you guys posted if when that time comes. Like I still probably like to wait until Logan's at least 2, but after that, I think time will get a little bit easier. But yeah, I was saying this before, like our group makeup when we first started. I'll admit this, I was unsure how well it was going to go at first.
I was confident.
I felt we had a very good balance.
Yeah, 2 melee, 2 caster.
Yeah, and see, like, I didn't know much about Monk, because I haven't had a lot of experience with the Monk class. And I've never played Paladin. Granted, you guys would keep telling me to play Paladin. So that was the first time I ever playing a Paladin class. For like granted, Baldur's Gate's gonna run it differently than D&D 5e, but
Oh yeah.
still, I felt pretty good playing the character. I will say that.
Why do you think I
Mhm.
love Talathael so much? He was a randomly generated character with the tables out of Xanathars. And yeah, he was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know Monk in the 2014 version of 5e isn't all that great, but the Baldur's Gate version of Monk is really strong as a base class.
I would have to
Yeah.
agree.
And I specifically did the Mercy Monk. Like I said, 'cause I think it's like the you could probably argue it's the most powerful monk one, along with like one other type of subclass.
In 5e, yeah, probably. I think Open Hand is almost better in Baldur's Gate, but it's close. Open Hand gets really nutty because you could do fun stuff like
The movement.
multi-class after 6 and get a few levels of Rogue for Thief and have 2 bonus actions around and have all your different versions of Flurry of Blows. You get automatic on hit, either radiant, psychic, or necrotic damage built into the subclass.
That's interesting because I don't know. I feel like I don't want to try to do multi-classing just because it just doesn't. I like going to full bar on whatever I'm doing.
It's
Yeah,
definitely not something I would do every time.
5e in general made monoclassing really strong. And partially because that's why they did subclasses to differentiate between them.
So you could have 2 fighters and have them not be identical.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes sense.
But I mean, if you want to do a party of 4 bards to have the Battle of the Band, I think we can make that work.
Oh man, that would be hilarious.
Well, we could have my lock will probably have the be able to play an instrument when we do that.
I'm pretty sure Blade Singer comes with performance.
And one person does the event to learn performance. That just means one more person.
Yeah, so we could have like 3 next time. Awesome. I really did actually. That is something that actually still sticks out in my mind is like the distractions with music, and how often we use that.
Yeah.
Just so I can sneak around and do stuff, right?
It's like, yeah, I need to go get this. Okay, I'll provide a distraction.
Distraction.
And we even made some money doing it, especially from the poor people.
that made me laugh because the one lady that was crying for money, and you couldn't give her money. You didn't have an option. You played, and then she throws money at you when you finish.
I know, it was such a dick move, but I had to see if it actually worked or not.
Ridiculous.
I really do appreciate like the amount of things you can actually do in this game. Like, it is actually pretty amazing what they allowed you to do. Considering like other video games you've ever played and that kind of stuff, like they had a lot in this game. That you really could be creative about what you could do to accomplish your task. I thought it was pretty neat how they did that.
Yeah, they do kind of do a good DM thing of creating a situation and not creating the answer necessarily.
Bottlenecking you into one choice and only one choice.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
see how you can make that happen.
I think one way that exemplifies it in Act 1 is when you just slow fall down the Hag's Den.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look, a trap gauntlet. Let's just jump.
So many great things. Man, like the music distractions, even Kevin's like character with the familiar, or the talking with the undead. I didn't realize how often that could come in handy as much as we used it in this playthrough. Because I played through Act 1 and 2, never through Act 3. But I think I only used Speak with Dead like one time through Act 1 and 2. And I think Kevin, you used it like so many times, like all the way through the
So-
game.
I got it from reading the entire Necromancy of Thay. So that's what
Yeah.
actually gave it to me as the as the
On whim.
ability.
Right.
And then it let it persist. So I should have just cast it after every long rest. But regardless, it was like, hey, I can talk to him.
And I still had the necklace of speak with undead as well.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, like, just the thought, because, like, I don't know why, but, like, the first couple times I played through, like, Act 1 and 2, it just really never occurred to me to do that. And I think that was probably one of the best things to me, playing as a group, is getting all that creative thought going between the four of us of, like, how I would handle this situation or how you would handle this situation. And
Hang on, let me do this.
Yeah.
Steve completely obliterates everything somehow. Oh, yeah. Totally intended. Good job, guys.
Steve, the best support class we could ever ask for, because he could play support
Oh my god.
so fucking
Right.
crazy.
Radiant Cleric,
Shiny.
like, is just crazy.
Oh, look, it's lots of hidden stuff. Oh, no problem. Shiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the fact that I could do that and get those, like, I think it was the gloves that I got near the beginning of Act 2, where they make people blinded, like Radiant Orb or whatever, debuff.
Yeah.
I wore those, like, the entire rest of the game.
Don't blame you. I wore those green gauntlets almost up to the entire game. Like, I got those in Act 1, and I didn't get rid of them until, like, it was around the end of Act 3. It's when I switched it out, when I found out that there were better gloves on Damon.
Dude, I still had the movement ring on the even at the final boss fight.
Jesus. I mean, it's a bit overkill on your monk, but still.
I still had the armor cloak on from, I think it was like Act 1 or 2.
Dude,
Early Act 2.
that cloak is so amazing.
Yeah.
Protection.
Hands down, probably one of the best cloaks in the game, in my opinion, anyways. Because I think there's always going to be a person in your group that's going to be able to use that cloak.
I like the cloak that I got, actually, which gave the effect of, I guess, forced disadvantage for, like, the first 3 swings around.
Yeah, I mean, who else had a really good cloak? I feel like it was Kevin. Didn't you have like a...
I had Cloak of the Weave, and it was great.
That's what it was, yes. So, like, I'm not saying that there is any better cloaks out there, but I feel like the Cloak of Protection is probably the most universal cloak that could be used in the game.
Yeah, anyone can use that.
Anybody could. Even if you didn't have a good cloak, just pop that on, it's still beneficial.
Between that, I also was using Bracers' Defense from like early Act 2 to the end of the game because it was free plus 2 armor. My sorcerer was running around with 18 AC just from mage armor.
Question with mage armor. Does that, like, you have to wear cloth with that, right? You can't wear like light armor or anything like that, right?
Correct. It has to be. It makes your base AC, as long as you are unarmored, 13 plus Dex mod.
Okay. And the only reason why I was asking that is because the subclass I'm thinking about playing for our next go around, Bladesinger, you get to wear light armor with that class. So if I get light armor, there's really no point of picking up mage armor, in my opinion.
Right.
Correct. Once you get studded leather, you have the 13 plus Dex again.
Okay, cool.
And then you're just gonna be able to pick on any light leather that usually like a rogue would use.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that class. It's going to be different for me because I'm used to playing kind of like your heavy armored melee class, and so
The one thing I'm going to say about when I was playing my wizard, God, ages ago, even if your subclass makes you a gish, a melee capable thing, you are a wizard. Spells are the thing.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
for sure. I mean, I was watching gameplay of Bladesinger, and it looks just
nice.
amazing. It looks completely amazing. I actually can't wait to even try it out because it does kind of combine my love for melee class. I really do kind of like playing melee. But I really want to kind of challenge myself to do, some like spells at a distance kind of deal. And I think Bladesinger is going to have that nice mix for me to do kind of the opportunity to do both.
Yeah.
I was curious for Blade Lock just because it's something I have wanted to try out since they're going to be putting it in, and it's gonna be interesting because it actually, I think if I read correctly, you can actually wear medium armor with it
And shields.
and shield. Yeah,
See, with Bladesinger, I can't wear a shield. That was one of the stipulations of the class.
Yeah. One of the things to look into for the Blade Singer might even be the armor that Dave was wearing in our run here.
Yeah, the one with the dex.
Yeah, the dex
Yeah.
armor that
Plus
gives you all the
dex.
dex and jump bonuses and stuff.
and then also cat reflex.
I was gonna say there are 2 items early game in Act 1 that's gonna be amazing for Bladesinger. One is that armor, the Dex one. That was kind of like around the end of Act 1. And then the second one is actually it's off of those ogre dudes, those 3 ogres. The smart one has the Crown of Intellect. And
He has had a chance to drop.
is it a chance? Because
I don't think anything's a chance to drop.
I was gonna say, like, every time I played, it dropped every time.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a 75-80% chance.
Now,
No, they don't
The
really
only
do
time
chance.
Something doesn't
Yeah.
drop from its pool is when you do something specifically to remove it.
I like eating someone off a cliff.
Yeah,
right?
or into the bay.
Yep.
Which I don't think he was going to have anything useful on him.
His life is the most useful thing to get out of him.
Yeah.
I mean, that experience alone was worth it.
Yeah. So, like how you got the legendary bow off of the Titan boss, if you do something specific, it will remove it from the loot pool, otherwise it always drops.
Yep. Yeah, I do remember that. So yeah, there are certain things that are specific to like how you deal with the situation, but for the most part, most items drop every time, as far as I'm aware. So looking sorry,
curious,
go ahead.
I'm curious on how being the warlock is actually going to change some conversations. Actually,
For sure. I mean, that's one thing we need to like discuss sometime too. Is like with our new classes, who's going to be essentially our new face, dealing with most of the conversations.
most likely my warlock because charisma
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
for most situations.
It is sometimes fun to face without a charisma character, but
That's
yeah.
true.
You get some weird options sometimes, like the paladin specific or whatever. Like,
Yeah, we
Paladin
did
has good
mostly
stuff.
That's what we did most of the time. Is whenever paladin popped up, we would say do paladin.
For
yeah,
the most part.
Or the couple times I managed to get in the room before Sean and I got to talk, it's like, oh shit, sorcerer, click.
Yeah.
Or thief.
Yeah. Criminal.
And the criminal.
Dude, we constantly had 4 inspirations just because we had covered everything, basically.
That's true, we did. You're not lying.
Oh, look, we did something bad. Inspiration from the criminal.
Good. we got the folk hero.
Yeah, Folk
And
Hero
then-
gets a lot of inspirations.
Yeah, it
and
does.
So did Guild Artisan. Dave got a ton of art inspiration.
Yeah, he
That was more than I was expecting, actually.
Same. I honestly felt like I got the least amount of inspirations comparatively to everybody else in the
Which one
team.
was yours?
I honestly don't even recall.
Weren't you Folk Hero?
I can't
I
remember.
was.
Oh, that's right.
Steve was. I don't think I was Folk Hero. I'm trying to remember which one I picked, and I
Did you do
can't
Noble?
remember. I think it was Noble. I think that's exactly what it was.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So yeah, Noble, not so much. You don't get a lot of inspiration there.
Well, we also
You-
generally handled our situations with you up front and me and Steve in back. And sword.
I really did enjoy Avengers Paladin. More so than I thought it was going to. Let's put it that way. I was not expecting that.
Hey, Jeremy Crawford, yay!
Man, they did such a great job with this game.
One thing I don't know if they'll fix or anything is I felt like there was many situations where we actually could have used Mage Hand to do some stuff, but I mean, you would think you would be able to do it, but it just wouldn't work.
Yeah, I could never get Mage Hand to work. It was so annoying.
Yeah, I think there were some spells that were kind of bugged and didn't work like they were supposed to.
Like Mage Hand could have helped us in several situations for lever pulling or just shifting something around.
Yeah, that would have been great had it worked the way it was supposed to. Thank you, Dad, for leaving early enough in life that I got away with it.
I wasn't reading, I was looking at spells and stuff.
Oh, that's fine. I mean,
It's fine, yeah. I read it for you.
Okay.
lots of love, lots of love, lots of love, lots of love, lots of support. I love you. Support.
I see it now, yeah.
I mean, that's all you're missing right now, except for the random one. For like, Franca, for putting up with my ass needing an intravascular coffee shot at 2 a.m.
Myself for being awesome.
Yeah, I
That's
just
you
saw
right
that.
there, Sean. Come on. How'd you were secretly working on this, weren't you?
All this time. Oh, man.
My son, Alexander, for understanding Daddy has to work to buy more video games.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? There's one other thing we should discuss real quick before the end here. Which character in the party was your favorite out of the ones that we couldn't play? Not our own characters, but like the game characters.
Companions.
Companions. Thank you.
So, Dave went all in with Gale, and
Yeah.
it was really cool to actually see all of the stuff that was just built in for that. Like, it made Gale feel like a really strong character.
I would agree.
Yeah, I'm curious on like how it was able with him, but not most of the other characters.
Well, I wanted
Not
to,
every character is easy to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to lay with Karlak, but I didn't know what to even start doing.
Same.
And you went crazy with Gale, and it's just like, you know what? That's amazing. Let's see this storyline.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so Karlak, you actually kind of have to be adventuring with her to have a chance.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I would
My
say
dad, who brought home a Sega Mega Drive.
I will say Karlak is probably my favorite, but there's so many good companions to choose from, but I really enjoyed Karlak's personality.
Yeah,
That's definitely one thing.
I've heard Karlak's personality described as a golden retriever. Like
Yeah,
they're just
that's
on board and happy to be here.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have gotten the YouTube shorts where they've been taking the voice actors and doing like either sigil or just a tabletop game.
I've seen
But
a couple
they
previews.
play their characters amazingly,
Oh, that's awesome.
and they just like Neil gives Asterion just a whole new side.
That's
and
awesome.
It's so cool to watch.
I will say I enjoyed being able to kind of like turn Asterion into such a like good character. Considering, I'm not saying that he was a bad character to begin with, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
He leans that way for sure.
yeah,
He's
with
very
the,
traumatized.
right.
So with the harpies in Act 1, if you have Astarion in your party and you leave the kid to be eaten, he's like, I didn't know you had it in you.
I gotta say though, I still feel bad for accidentally killing him in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, let's try not to kill any companions this time, because I wanted to see what Lysel
Yeah.
would say about stuff.
Oh, well, that might be unavoidable if
Hmm.
one of us plays Karlak or Will.
True.
Yeah.
Which-
I think you were doing Gale, right?
I'm gonna do Gale for sure. Yeah.
I don't think there's any. Well, we can't simultaneously do Will and Karlak.
Correct.
Yeah, and you can't do the ones you don't start with, which would be Halcyon, Jahira, and Minsk and Minthara.
Yeah, Mithara, you have to.
Right.
Now, for you doing the Blade Singer, I'm actually just looking at the human racials. One of the racials is Militia, which gives you proficiency with light armor and shields, plus other weapons. So that's something to think about when you're doing your calculations.
Oh, for sure. I know. There's
Well,
been a lot I've been doing.
I think you can't blade sing while using a shield at all. Like it
Correct.
restricts you out.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like I said, I won't be using a shield period with Blade Singer because it doesn't work like Steve said with the shield.
That's one of the things with, I guess, if one of the criticisms for the game is that they give you these racials that don't feel like they overlap too much with other things.
I honestly appreciate that because now I can kind of essentially choose a race where I really don't have to really think about maxing my stats. Essentially, it's more of like what are certain kind of benefits, but I can really kind of just enjoy the look of my character. Essentially,
Yeah.
So I didn't like how the tieflings ended up looking, but I can tell you, having racial fire resistance was amazing.
yeah, true. I'll admit that that is pretty awesome.
And then when I went storm and I got thunder and lightning on top of that, I basically had to watch out for necrotic. And that was it.
Nice.
hmm
I didn't have at the end of the game there. I didn't have any resistance to anything, but I was just so heavy AC at that point. Granted, who was it? Who else was like heavy AC? I think it was Steve, wasn't it?
I had a ton of
Uh,
AC.
It
yeah.
was,
I was
it went-
mid game. I was probably the highest, but then
Yeah.
I teetered off because I actually dropped the bracers, gave them to you,
Kevin?
Kevin, because I got the different gloves to do more damage.
Yeah, there's a lot of monk gloves.
Yeah, there is.
So, in the middle of it, Dave had the most AC, but at the very end, I think it went Sean, Dave, Steve, and then me.
I think Steve was higher than me actually.
Oh, okay.
At the end, I had like 24 AC.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I was at 20, I believe.
I was at 21, if I remember correctly. It's 21
Yeah,
or
'cause
22.
I had max, or I had 20 dex, 20 whiz. So I think
Nice. Yeah, you know, That kind of reminded me. I felt so bad for you, Kevin, when you kept getting like stunned and stuff around the end of that arc.
Yeah, that was me too. I was like,
Stunned half
Kevin
the
most,
game.
of course.
Yeah, I mean, it generally happens to me. I think it's karma for me DMing.
Oh yeah.
Well, you'll be a medium armor wearer, so you might be able to use the Helm of Baldur on and be immune to stuns in Act 3 over next run.
That would be
Nice.
amazing.
That does
Or
sound
at the
amazing.
very least, for that stretch of fighting,
You know,
with all the mind players.
if I play
Yeah.
Blade Singer right, it looks like you can actually get a really high AC even without mage armor. Just from like the stats and the abilities you get with Blade Singer.
So
Yeah, you get
even
Blade
early
Singer.
game with like the Dex armor that I was talking about, the monk one,
Yeah,
you would be able to use mage armor with that
true.
because it's not armor, it's clothing, and then also the bracers of defense.
Yep.
And if you had like 17 or 18 or Dex base plus 2 from the armor, you're looking at a very high Dex add to your AC as well.
But you'd be
There
potentially.
thou art, the dead three. Thy faces gods, thy actions barely worthy of the name. Didst truly believe thy ploy would succeed? Didst believe I would not notice? Thou soughtst to bolster thy strength by taking away the souls of mortals. But souls vanish when their hosts become mind flayers. Didst think the other gods would not notice? Gods thou may be, yet thou hast proven thyself fools. Everyone. The supplication of Bane, the whimper of Baal, the death mule of Merkel. Felled by mortals, I overestimated thee. They did not. Vermin, away. Thou wilt trouble us no more.
At least for a century.
Until next time.